All right, good day, everyone. It's the August Webinar Wednesday here with the National Weather Association. Today we have the Vice President of the National Weather Association, Bill Murray, and he is going to talk all about WeatherFest, which is going to be something a
All
little
right,
bit new to
good
the
day,
National Weather
everyone.
Association
It's
here
the August
in the last
webinar
couple of
Wednesday here.
years. It is going to be Saturday during the National Convention coming up next month, in the month of September. Reminder that it is earlier this year than it has been in past years. Bill is the weather historian, as you know him on Twitter, but today he's going to be putting his hat to the test in the guest finding realm here. As a He's really gotten everything together through WeatherFest, so I'm going to let him take this thing away.
Jonathan,
Bill?
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you, Trevor, for being here to help me do this today. I'm really, really excited because the National Weather Association has planned a huge event in Norfolk to kick off our annual meeting this year. The 41st annual meeting in Norfolk is going to be a huge event this year, and we'll start on Saturday morning from 10 to 5 with our WeatherReadyFest. This is a big event. We did one in Birmingham in 2011, and I'll talk about that history in a minute. But here's the logo for the event. You can see it's going to be sponsored by FedEx, which is huge for us. They are our title sponsor. And you can kind of see the graphical elements there. And we even have the hurricane spinning the right way. Tip of the hat to Al Gore and An Inconvenient Truth. I tried to get them to turn that hurricane around, but they never would. But this is our logo this year. We're very excited about that. And our next slide talks about the purpose of today's call. I want to get into that for a minute with everyone because we have a real purpose here today. My main purpose is to get you fired up about WeatherReadyFest. This is a huge event for the National Weather Association. We're anticipating that we'll have between 5,000 and 10,000 people at the event, so it gives us a chance to go out and interact with our publics. It gives us a chance to get everyone in the association on the same page today. Hopefully a lot of our members are watching. A lot of members will come back and watch this video a little bit later. And it is not too late. One of the most important purposes of today is to make sure that you go out as an NWA member and recruit last-minute volunteers, exhibitors, and sponsors. It will not be too late, almost until the day of the event, for us to shoehorn in another exhibitor. We can always use more hands on deck. And if you get your shirt size in time, you'll get a really cool shirt. I've got my cool NWA shirt on today with the official logo, and there'll be some of those on sale, of course, at the annual meeting. And our next slide shows, what is WeatherReadyFest? We're planning this to be a fun day of learning, of games and activities. We have a slate of speakers that's very exciting, headlined by Bill Reed, former director of the National Hurricane Center. We have a special movie screening. Blake Naftell's History of Storm Chasing will be shown at the theater that day. And there will be lots of weather and emergency management equipment also there on display. So it's all about weather, it's about preparedness, it's about resiliency, which is a great message for us to be getting out to all of our general publics. Now, the where and the when is Saturday, September 10th. We go to the next slide. You can see a map of downtown Norfolk. The Nauticus Science Center, where we'll be, is right on the water. It's just 2 blocks from the headquarters hotel. On Saturday, September 10th of this year, we'll start at 10 a.m. and we go until 5 p.m. And the reason that the hours are so long, that's 7 hours of weather fun, is because we're going to have the entire venue for the entire day. The National Weather Service, or the National Weather Association, has leased out the entire facility for the entire day that Saturday, and we're going to be able to make this a free event for everyone in the Norfolk area. That means what normally costs people $20 to get into the Science Museum will be free with the time tickets that we'll have online. If you'll go to the next slide for me, I'll give you a little history. Sort of lark in 2011 when we had the National Weather Association annual meeting in Birmingham. We decided that we would do a WeatherFest on Saturday. It was a generally local event. We had participation from NWA members like Jill Hassling. We had lots of volunteers that came down to the McWane Science Center in downtown Birmingham. And it was sort of a shoestring deal, but it was hugely successful. We had great media coverage and had about 5,000 people show up that day. It didn't hurt that we had the Susan G. Komen breast cancer run right by the facility right before we started. But we had a great group of families and individuals that came that day, and it was a huge success. Now, I have to give a little tip of the hat, if you'll give me the next slide, to very important people involved in this process. First, that I want to talk about is Ken Carey. Ken is a good friend of ours, an important member of the National Weather Association, and as many of you know, Ken suffered a stroke back in the spring, and he is recovering from that medical condition and getting better all the time. And I want to tell you, Ken is the reason that we are doing this WeatherFest this year. Ken came to me last year. He's one of the program co-chairs for Norfolk, and he said, "Bill, we have to do another WeatherFest." And we started the wheels rolling and worked throughout the fall and the winter to get it set up and ready to go. And then I have to really give a tip of the hat to past President Bruce Thomas, Midland Radio, because Bruce came to see me in April, and we sat down. We were really still trying to do the event on a rather shoestring budget, which meant that we were going to have most of the exhibitors outside, like we did in Birmingham. Now, you saw from that picture in Birmingham, the weather was beautiful. But in Norfolk, you know, who knows? It's September 10th. The weather could go a lot of different directions. So Bruce said, "Bill, you know, I really think you should make sure that this event is all indoors." So on a lark, we called the Nauticus Science Center and asked them, "How much would you charge us to have the whole facility?" And it actually was a fairly affordable amount. So I talked to Janice and to Dave, and now we are all indoors. And that is possible because of some great sponsors. If you'll give me the next slide there, Tim. These are our title sponsor is FEX, and we've also received some exciting exciting underwriting from Comet, a great NWA member, and from USAA, which is one of the largest insurance agencies out there specializing in working with the federal government, and they have a great presence in the Norfolk area. So USAA is one of our Cat 5 sponsors, FedEx is our title sponsor, and Comet has provided some generous support. We still have about 8 sponsorship negotiations that are underway, so I think we are well on our way to, you know, making this a big success, because everything we do, we're reinvesting it in what we're creating here. So this slide shows some of the goals of the WeatherReadyFest, because you'd like to know what are the 3 goals of what we want to do that day. We did some cute little infographic type things, you know, talking about you know, what we were trying to accomplish with WeatherFest. And you know, one of those you can see on this graphic right here, the young man looking at the anemometer, is, you know, from the Birmingham WeatherFest. So the first and foremost goal of the event is to have fun. We want all of our visitors to come and have a great time around weather, to, you know, learn a lot that day. We're going to be educating our publics. That's really critical. But the main goal is that we want to have fun. The next slide shows the third goal of the WeatherReadyFest, and that's to give you, as an NWA member, a chance to make a difference. You can see the folks from Cocoa Roz here working at Birmingham with some young people. All of these exhibits were so well received, and we have an even bigger lineup planned for Norfolk. The next slide shows the venue, which is the Nauticus Science Center. You can see this beautiful location, which is right there on the waterfront in downtown Norfolk. The USS Wisconsin is the big battleship that's anchored there. Some of you probably been there and toured that before, but this is a perfect facility for us because, as you saw on the map just a moment ago, it is just 2 blocks away from the Marriott Waterside and from the Sheraton, which are our headquarter hotels. The next slide shows a layout of Nauticus. Basically, there are 3 levels to the facility. You walk up some gangplanks and enter into an area which shows the front deck. That's where we're going to put the registration there to the left. People will come up the gangplank with their time tickets. You'll see those in just a minute, and they'll receive a goodie bag, and they'll receive a passport that will guide them through the activities of the day. We'll have volunteers stationed at the front deck area to you know, trade those time tickets for the materials that they'll have, and we'll have other volunteers at the main entrance, because one of the things that the visitors will receive is a very nice wristband, and that will let us know that they've gained access to the facility. There is a nice cafe on the first floor of Nauticus. It'll be a great place for our attendees and our volunteers to enjoy lunch, because, as we said a moment ago, 7 hours is going to make a grueling day for all of us as volunteers. There will be exhibits spread all over the first floor area, and that shows you a little map of what the first floor of Nauticus looks like. We'll switch slides and go to the second floor. We'll have more exhibits on the second floor, And this is the room where our speaker session will be. It holds about 35 to 40 people. We hope to pack it out for about 12 speakers that will be there through the day. That's going to be very exciting. And we'll also have a volunteer ready room on that floor. This is the floor also where you go over to the USS Wisconsin. And as I said earlier, if you come to WeatherFest, if you have one of those time tickets, you'll not only see the exhibits, play in the activities and the fun games, be a part of it, but our visitors will also be able to see the entire museum, and they'll also be able to go on the battleship. Now, the next slide shows the third floor of Nauticus. You'll have more exhibits there. This is where the theater is. All of the visitors will also be able to watch all of the high-definition movies that are being shown, in addition to Blake Naftel's movie. There's also a NOAA Science on a Sphere there. There's a great little room that we're going to set up with all the cool NOAA coloring books. We'll have some volunteers staffing that area. There's another classroom with a Promethean board that we're going to assign to one of our activity leaders, and we'll be designing that over the next week or so. And all of that is there on the third floor. Now, on the next slide, you'll see sort of an aerial view of Nauticus from Google Earth, and some things are drawn to your eyes here. There's a big figure-8 driveway in the front of the facility, and that's where we'll put all of our large equipment. The City of Norfolk Emergency Manager has already committed his large command vehicle for that day. We have some other weather-related vehicles, chase-type vehicles that'll be there, and that should generate quite a bit of interest. And then you can see the gangplanks going up to the registration area and the front doors. And then, but if you look around to the left, there's lots of outdoor space here. And if you walk around on the outside, kind of to the left of the main part of the building, you go to the back, and at that very rear portion, there is a large pavilion. And that large pavilion is where we will put the stage and do all of our outdoor activities, because some of our exhibitors, want access to water, they want to splash, they want to do some fun things. And you'll see the Ward's floodplain model out there. You'll see the Cocoa Rise exhibit, those sort of things. And FedEx will do their big exhibit out there as well. The next slide shows where people can go to get those 7,500 free time tickets that we're going to release. It's funny because we haven't even announced this to the public or given this link to anyone, and we've already had over 450 people come in and claim tickets. And so it is really exciting to see the reception just for people finding it. Online, and the little bit of word of mouth that has gone out from the Science Museum. That promotion machine will be kicking into high gear in the next couple of weeks. Now, the next slide shows basically the fulfillment piece that we'll be giving to all of the visitors who come. We're going to have a 24-page passport. It'll be 8.5 by 11 folded size. This is sort of the exterior cover. It gives room for the visitor to collect some stickers. That's one of the main points of what we're going to want to do today, in the event on that Saturday, is engage our audience, and we'll be having them stamp this passport as they attend all of our exhibitors' booths and tables. And then as they clear up sections of their passport, they'll actually earn some stickers. And the main goal will be to receive the National Weather Service WeatherReady Nation Force of Nature sticker. That's going to be the main goal at the end. The next slide shows some of the interior material that we're putting together for the passport. It should be a nice keepsake takeaway with tons of information on weather safety and meteorology in general. Scott Martin, the next page shows the stamps. He's a meteorologist with the Alabama WX team here in Birmingham, a good NWA student member, and Scott has an amazing capacity for design, and he has created this entire passport literally on his own. So we'll be vetting it through the various committees of the NWA, making sure the proper attributions are there. But the main goal is going to be to attain these passport stamps as you go around and engage with all of our exhibitors. The next slide shows some of the promotional efforts that we'll be undertaking in the next few weeks. We've developed a press release that will go to all the newspapers and TV stations in the Hampton Roads area. We've already sent out a mailer to all the schools at the end of the school year. All the Scout Councils got all this information. We'll be using social media, of course, the NWA social media, and the various stakeholders there in Norfolk. The National Weather Service in Wakefield is helping us. The emergency manager for the city of Norfolk, Jim Reddick, has been a wonderful partner, and he's been getting lots of word out to all of his various partners and stakeholders, and the city of Norfolk will be using their communications channels to also get the word out over the next few weeks. Slide number 20 talks about volunteers. Our goal is to have 50 volunteers. We're currently about halfway there, so operators are waiting right now. If you could just go to your phone and call and join us. Just go to the NWA WeatherFest page, actually, on the annual meeting page, and there's a place there for you to fill out a Google form. You'll get a really cool shirt. I promise it'll be a prettier color than the one we used in Birmingham, but Dr. Pat Market and I had the pleasure of modeling those shirts on the day of the WeatherFest. The next slide gets into, we start talking about, what the roles of the exhibitors will be, the games and activities that we're going to play. You see Rennie Vanderweeg and Ryan Stennett from Mississippi State there from Birmingham. They had a table at the Birmingham WeatherFest. You should expect to see around 60 to 65 of these. Slide number 22 gives a partial list of the exhibitors. You can see this about 30 strongly committed exhibitors that are signed up now. We'll probably line up another 20 to 25 between now and the event. But NASA Langley will be there with a huge weather video board talking about satellites. Of course, FedEx has a really cool activity. The USAA folks are going to be front and center. Flash with their Hurricane Strong exhibit will be there. The folks, of course, from Weather Call. Of course, the military has a huge presence in Norfolk in the Hampton Roads area, and the USO will have a place. Diane Cooper, our old friend, Weather Integrations, will be there with the Ward's floodplain model. She'll be near the Virginia Association of Floodplain Managers. You'll see Barron Services there. Dan Gallagher will be getting ping pong balls thrown at him at different times and have some other cool things. Coca Ross, the old Coast Guard station there in the Hampton Roads area, will be explaining about hurricanes and shipwrecks. Norfolk Emergency Management will have a huge presence. Of course, our friend Bruce Thomas and Midland Weather Radio will be there. The National Weather Service will have a huge presence. Doug Hildebrand and the WeatherReady Nation folks will be acting to handle that from a national level, and of course the National Weather Service Wakefield. The next slide goes into a few more people. Allie Skywarn will be there. I didn't know that a National Weather Service person had to wear the costume. Did you know that, Tim Bryce?
I did not. What an honor. Maybe me someday.
So we need to get you to Norfolk so you can be Allie Skywarn. But as you can see, the list goes on and on and on, and I think our visitors are going to have a great time with all of these exhibitors. Slide 24 shows the stage that was set up at Birmingham. It'll be even better and bigger in Norfolk. Of course, Nick Walker will be the star of that stage show. Cheryl Nelson will be the MC. She's a local TV meteorologist in Norfolk. She's been a huge help as we've been planning everything, and you can see there some of Nick's big fans on the stage in Birmingham. That was a huge hit. He'll be, of course, in his role as the weather dude, and we'll be singing weather safety songs. The 25th slide gives me a chance to explain a few things to you. We'd like as many of our visitors as can come on Friday evening between 5 and 6, because as soon as the Science Museum closes, we're going to actually be actively involved in putting out the tables, the chairs, and the signage. We want to be able to walk in Saturday morning with everything pretty much the way that it should be, so that there's not a whole lot of setup. So if you can come Friday night between 5 and 6, we'll be encouraging our exhibitors to come then. Otherwise, they'll be loading in on Saturday morning. We'll have a shirt pickup on Friday evening as well. We'll be making arrangements with each volunteer to make sure they get their shirts, because we want them to be wearing those loud and proud on Saturday morning. They'll feature the FedEx colors. They'll have the logo of WeatherReadyFest on the front chest area, and then also we'll have a couple of our really good sponsors that we're lining up right now that'll be on the sleeves. So there's the place to go to sign up right there. Just go to the annual meeting WeatherFest page, and there are several links on there for you to sign up as a volunteer, to sign up as an exhibitor, or to get in on the action as a sponsor. And all you have to do is reach out to me or Janice or any of the other folks at the NWA, and they will point you in the right direction. Slide 26 gives a tentative speaker lineup. Most excited about the folks that we're going to have speaking. Bill Reed will be there. Dr. Marshall Shepard from the Weather Channel and the University of Georgia will be there. And the list goes on. It will be a very exciting lineup of speakers on that Saturday. Now, slide 27 talks about Blake Naftell's movie and the Storm Chasing Anthology. This is an outstanding history of something that's near and dear to a lot of folks' heart in the weather industry, and that is getting up close and personal with storms and tornadoes and severe weather. And Blake has an excellent movie, and the folks at Nauticus have made a place for him to show that movie in the large screen theater there, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Slide 28 is my challenge slide to you. If Dave Freeman were here, he would give you a challenge coin. I'm going to give you a challenge slide, and the challenge is to be a volunteer, be a speaker, be a sponsor, and help us get the word out. This is a really fun event with a lot of really cool outreach possibilities for us as an association. I hope that it becomes something that we do every year in association with the annual meeting, and I hope it becomes a mainstay of what we do. So that's my challenge to you, is to be a volunteer, to be a sponsor, to be a speaker, and to help get the word out. And one last word here is we are about 21 minutes into the webinar today. I want to put out a shout out for Barrett Smith, who is handling the IT for the annual meeting. He has a group of people with him, but he needs a lot more help. He has put together an outstanding Sign Up Genius site that you can go to and log in and be an IT volunteer. And you don't have to be scared about doing this, because the AV company that the association has contracted with to do the annual meeting audio-visual is outstanding. They'll be there to hold our hands, but it gives you a chance to really get actively involved in the meetings. These are the places where the rubber meets the road, and if you want to get into the leadership of the National Weather Association, these are great entry-level opportunities. It gives you a chance to get exposure and to network and to make lots of new friends and networking possibilities, and this is a chance for you to do that. So please volunteer for the WeatherFest. Please volunteer for what Barrett is doing, and we'll close it out with the logo there. For WeatherReadyFest on September 10th. And I guess I can turn it back over to you, Jonathan and Tim, and see if we have any questions.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have a question and a comment for you, Bill. My question is, what happens if too many people show up?
Well, we're planning for that, because that is a possibility. We're going to promote heavily that they're time tickets. We think we have the capacity to bring probably somewhere around 12,500 people through the museum. We think there will be a strong walk-up that day. So if we limit the tickets to around 7,500, we think then we'll probably come in somewhere around 9,000 or 10,000 people. That's our hope.
Okay. My comment is kind of a follow-up to the end of your presentation there. I can't strongly enough suggest that people volunteer for this, no matter whether you're a student, well, especially if you're a student, but also as a professional. It's a great way to get involved in an organization, and not just for WeatherFest, but make sure you're getting involved throughout the rest of the week as well. And I'm sure Bill would back me up on that too. We got to fill up Bill's inbox here with requests for volunteering here. And also all of his other contact information, which is Bill. Would you prefer your email or Twitter? What do you prefer?
Any of the above, Jonathan. Email, Twitter, all those things work very well. So, do you want to share those, or do you want me to?
Go ahead. I don't know them off the top of my head.
All right. You can email me at billmurray@theweatherfactory.com. That's just BILLMURRAY at theweatherfactory.com. Or, as Jonathan said earlier, I am at WXHistorian on Twitter.
All right, Trevor, were there any questions that came in on social media?
Not so far, but I'm getting that contact information out right now.
Okay.
You know, we did forget to mention at the beginning that if you do have a question or a comment, you can always tweet it at us. We're monitoring the hashtag NWAWebWed. Is that correct? There it is. Jonathan,
Yes.
go ahead and talk so they can see your screen. And
Yeah, here's the hashtag here. We'll be watching these over the next couple of hours here and directing those towards Bill if necessary. And we're also going to try to get this PowerPoint up. I'll make sure that PowerPoint gets up somewhere, whether it be Twitter or on the website somewhere. And also, this will be recorded, so you're more than welcome to find this later. If you missed some of those links in the PowerPoint, I'll have that video recorded pretty much instantly as soon as we end here.
Hey, Bill, it sounds like you guys have put together a great presentation, and anyone who's in the Norfolk area should plan on coming out. How did you get all this put together? I mean, how did you get everyone pulled together to join you in this?
It has been a very fun 9 or 10 months, Tim, of just talking to people in the association, talking to people in the weather enterprise, and getting them excited about it. I think next year we'll know what we're doing. I mean, literally this year it has been, a learning process. In Birmingham, it was all local people. You know, it was just reach out, come, do this. There wasn't a lot of forethought or planning put into it. A lot of effort has gone into this, and it has been just literally working with the grassroots members of the NWA, brainstorming with them. I know this person, this group could exhibit, et cetera, et cetera. I think next year we'll be able to reach out into the association much earlier in the process and get everyone involved and more excited. Literally, even as late as April, we still did not have the facility nailed down. It was quite a challenge to balance cost and sponsorships, and this is a very expensive undertaking that the association has entered into, and it's not without risk. So we wanted to do it carefully and with good financial stewardship, and I think we've done that thanks to the help of our great underwriting sponsors.
Now, it looks like you've encouraged a lot of your vendors to have hands-on things. So there's going to be plenty of things for the family, mom and dad, and for the kids to do to help educate them about the weather or emergency management or what to do when the bad weather comes to town.
That's what we're telling all of our exhibitors. Please have an activity. Now, in some cases, you're just handing out material. Maybe you're more focused at mom and dad. That's fine. We want to do that too. But we want to have a large percentage of the exhibitors doing a fun activity, a fun game. Maybe it's tornado tubes or running a Van de Graaff generator or Jacob's ladder. Anything we can think of. The FedEx people literally have the kids dress up as thunderstorms and airplanes and run around and avoid each other. And I think that's just perfect. Many of you seen the Cocoa Rise exhibit where they actually have little plastic pools and rain gauges, and of course the Ward's floodplain model was a huge hit in Birmingham. The kids get to get actively involved. I think the hands-on things will be the most memorable.
Yeah, we have a Ward's floodplain model for our office, and the kids just like it because you can show them what happens when it rains on a parking lot downstream from the parking lot, and then you can put in like a marshy area and see how that retains the water, and it's just a great educational tool when you're talking about a good water conservation and how we should better work with the resources that we have when we're building in our different towns and things.
Exactly.
And then, like you said, not only it sounds like all the activities will be great, but you get access to everything there at the Nauticus Center and the battleship and all the movies and everything. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, we're so thrilled. Yes, Jonathan.
I have to ask, as we are talking now to the weather historian, does the battleship have any sort of weather history associated with it that we could learn about?
I'm going to have to research that now, Jonathan. I'm certain that during its tours in the Pacific that it encounters some typhoons.
Right. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up anything if we have no more questions on social media. Trevor?
No, but we're getting a whole lot of retweets, so Bill, you might be getting some after the fact.
Well, bring it on, because it'll be more the merrier. We'll fit as many people as we can in the Nauticus Science Center and the battleship that day, and hopefully have a huge, successful WeatherReadyFest.
Sounds fantastic. Look forward to seeing everyone out there in Norfolk and to kick off the national conference on September 10th there at the Nauticus Center in Norfolk. Going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, Bill, for all of this fantastic presentation. Looks like a fantastic event, too.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.
Great.
All right. Bye-bye.
Everyone.